You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Glad you can join me for another podcast of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. This is podcast number 39, I believe, 39. But nonetheless, I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, comment, and like, all that good stuff. Go to my website, atswmikedavis.com, to get in contact with the show for any comments or suggestions, or read any of the blogs. I won't take up much more of your time. Let's get into it. All right, so let's kick things off with all things Atlanta. So Ronald Acuna is back in the Braves lineup. Now, for the second time since August 26th, Ronald Acuna has rejoined the Braves lineup after an injury. Now, Acuna exited last Sunday's game early because of tightness in his left hamstring. He missed the ensuing 3 games in Boston, but he returned to his usual leadoff spot and is playing center field for Game 1 of yesterday's doubleheader against the Nationals. The Braves, my Braves, are in first place of the NL East with a 24-14 record. So, not only that, as far as all things Atlanta news goes, can I give an applause to my man, Freddie Freeman? Give an applause to him, please. All right, Freddie Freeman last night hit his first grand slam of his career. That's kind of mind-boggling. He's been in the bigs for quite a while. You know, I would have had assumed that he would have already had at least one grand slam under his belt. If that was a trivia question, that really would have tripped me up. It would have got me. But the Braves ended up winning last night against the Washington Nationals. My man Freddie Freeman hitting a grand slam. Excuse me. And in other Atlanta things news, all things Atlanta news, that is. The Atlanta Falcons, they have now started the process of cutting the roster from 80 players to the 53-man roster on Friday. Now, they have until 4 p.m. Saturday to make all of their cuts. You know, it's pretty much the final cuts. You know, I didn't see any names that would stand out, but it's pretty, standard. Most teams are going to be making their cuts Saturday to get down to that roster limit, that 53-man roster limit. Okay. So now I want to know something. So my girlfriend eats the weirdest things when it comes to certain fast food places and whatnot. Now, she had this one thing where if you go to Krispy Kreme donuts, she likes the raspberry filled donuts. I don't know anybody who eats raspberry filled donuts. Normally, when you go to Krispy Kreme's, you just get the original glazed, donuts. But not her. Well, she was disappointed again because Taco Bell's announced that they are getting rid of the taco pizza. I've never seen anybody in my lifetime order the taco pizza but her. She is the only person that I know that will eat a taco pizza from Taco Bell. Now, Taco Bell, once you've eaten real Mexican food, you kind of just at Taco Bell, get that out of here, And Taco Bell is more so of that late night, drunk food. Like, I don't really get up at it, it's 3 in the afternoon and I say, you know what? I think I want a burrito from Taco Bell. That's really not me at all. If I'm eating Taco Bell, best believe it's going to be pretty much after 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. That's pretty much the only time I would eat Taco Bell. But anyway, Taco Bell is getting rid of the taco pizza. And sorry to all the people out there who enjoy Taco Bell's taco pizza. That's I don't think I've ever had a Mexican pizza, so to speak. Yeah, no. Let's just move on. Let's move on. Let's move on into the meat of the show, the real topics, not the Taco Bell nonsense. That is all for all things Atlanta. But moving on, Tampa Bay Bucks, they end up signing Leonard Fournette. Now, after spending the first 3 seasons of his career in Jacksonville, Fournette will now head to Tampa Bay. He will join an offense that has also added, you already know this name, of course, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and LaShawn McCoy this offseason. Now, head coach Bruce Arians said that Ronald Jones is still the team's starting running back and indicated that veteran LaShawn McCoy will still occupy a spot on the roster. So I don't know how that's going to work. You don't really see teams running with a 3-back system. That is tough. Looking at that, I don't know why Tampa bothered to sign Leonard Fournette. I don't understand the signing looking at that now. If Arians is going to go with Ronald Jones and you're going to have LaShawn McCoy, splitting time in the backfield with him or on the field at the same time, I'm pretty sure they're going to have to come up with some kind of clever way to get Fournette on the field. Looking at that now, I don't like that signing by Tampa. But, hey, more offensive firepower. So, hey, it is what it is. Also, going way across, we're going from the South, going from the East Coast all the way over to the West Coast. I almost did it. I have to get used to saying the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm still used to saying San Diego Chargers. All right, the Chargers, they end up naming Tyrod Taylor as their starter. Tyrod Taylor beat out rookie Justin Herbert, who was selected number 6 overall in this year's draft for the spot. Now, during Taylor's 9-year NFL career, he has 70 touchdowns, 54 of those are passing, to 20 interceptions. Now, last season, in his first season with LA, Tyrod Taylor played in 8 games, throwing just 6 passes. That's all. Wow. Now, Taylor was the Buffalo Bills starter from 2015 to 2017, and he was named to the Pro Bowl once during that 3-year span. He started 3 years for the Cleveland Browns in 2018, and he has 46 career starts. Now, it seems like San Diego, they're going to go the old school route. They're going to start the veteran, and they're going to let the rookie learn behind him, kind of like when Tyrod Taylor was in Cleveland. And he was named the starter there. Baker Mayfield didn't like it. He had to sit behind him for a couple games. But if you remember, that's normally how most old school football coaches operate. They're not going to throw a rookie out there in his first game. Now, that has happened, though. Atlanta being one of those teams, when Matt Ryan was drafted, they threw him out there game 1. He was the starter. But San Diego, tell the Chargers how I feel about that. Chargers, why did you leave San Diego? I know you were San Diego, not LA. But anyway, the Chargers, they're going about it the old school way. Tyrod Taylor named the starter. He will start over rookie Justin Herbert this year in LA. Now, in other news as well around the NFL, the Patriots end up releasing Mohamed Sanu. Now, it's crazy to think that his stint has already come to an end. Now, the move comes as a bit of a surprise. It was less than a year ago, the Patriots sent a second rounder to the Falcons for Mohamed Sanu. That's one of those Bill Belichick things where you just shake your head at Bill because you gave up a second rounder for Sanu and now you cut him. Second rounders are playing in this league. Second rounders are starting in this league. That was a huge pick. So it's fair to say that the Falcons won that side of the draft, well, of the trade. They got a second rounder out of it, and I've seen online where some people have maybe hinted at Sanu coming back to Atlanta. Me personally, I don't like the deal. If it comes to that, I don't like him coming back to Atlanta because I don't think Mohamed Sanu, honestly, is a legit number 2. I mean, he had his good year during that Super Bowl run with Atlanta, but outside of that, I really haven't seen him be productive. Some people will say he was productive in Cincinnati before he came to Atlanta. I didn't watch much of Mohamed Sanu in Cincy, so I really couldn't tell you, give you a personal opinion on that. But I've seen him since he's been, with Atlanta, and I don't think he is a legit 2 receiver. To me, he's a number 3. He can catch the ball, but he drops a lot of balls too. I've seen it. So if there's a team out there that has 2 set receivers and they need that number 3, to come in and just maybe go across the middle, catch some passes, then yeah, Sanu more than likely is your guy. All right, so moving on, more releases. This is what I don't like about the NFL, because the NFL can wait a week before the season start and they will cut big time names. They go through a lot of cuts. Like I mentioned in the All Things Atlanta segment, Atlanta is trimming their roster down like most teams from that 80 number to down to 53 men. But what I don't like is you have established players that are being cut, a week before the season starts, and you're basically telling them to go find a team. And some situations it's going to be hard to latch on. And this is one of them. Adrian Peterson. Wow. What if that was really his name? Adrian Peterson was cut. The name speaks for itself. So the team in Washington, isn't that their name? They don't go by their old nickname anymore. Can't say that. So now you have to say the Washington team, or the team in Washington, the Washington football team. Well, they cut Adrian Peterson, not Adrian Peterson, but Adrian Peterson. Now, Peterson spent the last 2 years with Washington, leading the team in rushing over that time with 1,940 yards, 12 touchdowns. Now, he has rushed for 14,216 yards, trailing Barry Sanders by only 1,053 yards, for 4th place on the NFL's all-time career list. Now, Adrian Peterson ranks 4th with 111 rushing touchdowns. I don't know if he gets a job. I believe Peterson now is 36. I believe that's his age. I'm going to go with 36. I think he's 36 years old. And I don't... You know what? I can't say that because looking at those numbers, teams don't run the ball like they used to. It's not your granddad's NFL where teams ran, first, second down, and then they throw on third down. Not really how football is played. And over the past 2 years, he's run for almost 2,000 yards over the past 2 years. So he still might have some juice left in that tank. 1940 over 2 years and 12 touchdowns. That's not bad. That's not bad production at all, especially for a guy at his age. Frank Gore is still going at it out there. Frank Gore is still playing football. Frank Gore has a son, Frank Gore Jr., playing college football, Division I. Let that sink in, okay? And Frank Gore is still out here playing football for somebody. So maybe there is hope for Adrian Peterson. And like I said, I'm looking at his numbers, the 1,900 yards and 12 touchdowns over the past 2 years. That's not... If you the guy to come back up your starter, I have no problem with signing Adrian Peterson. Those are pretty good numbers. All right, so let's transition over to the NBA. I had no real segue to get out of Adrian Peterson. That might be his new name now, Adrian Peterson. So yeah, let's transfer over to basketball talk. All right, the new. Oh, I almost slipped up again. I was going to call them the New Jersey Nets. They are no longer the New Jersey Nets. They are in Brooklyn. This is what happens when you grow up, like I did, watching sports all the time, and you get stuck seeing this city, and then when you're almost 40 years old, they decide they want to up and leave. So, yeah. All right. The Brooklyn Nets, they signed Steve Nash as their next head coach. Now, Nash will get a 4-year contract from Brooklyn, while Jacques Vaughn, who was the interim coach who led the Nets through the Orlando bubble, he will stay on as Nash's top assistant, and he will be the highest paid assistant in the NBA. Now, some people had they didn't feel too great about the signing. I saw Stephen A. Smith was going off on ESPN, calling it white privilege, and for a little bit, I kind of agreed, but I hadn't done my homework yet. That's why I wait to react. I take it in, I digest it, and then I go over the facts, and then I come to a conclusion on what I think. Because at first, I won't lie, I was riding Stephen A. I was like, how does Nash get a job and he has no coaching experience? You have guys who have been waiting for an NBA job, like Patrick Ewing, and they haven't gotten it yet. There are other guys that are more qualified, such as a Tyronn Lue, Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson has been blackballed from the NBA. I don't care what anybody says. Mark Jackson has been blackballed. The guy can coach. Okay? The guy can coach. He built that Golden State team that Steve Kerr is winning with. It is what it is. But, let's stay on the Steve Nash thing here. So, Stephen A. Smith called it white privilege. And then I had to go back and I looked at some coaches who got jobs, that were minority coaches. They got jobs without any head coaching experience. And two came right to me. And it was Derek Fisher and Jason Kidd. Now, basketball IQ-wise, I have no problem with Fisher or Kidd. Even Steve Nash. Those are three guys where their basketball IQ is out of this world. They're point guards and they see the floor. So I know that there's a lot of things that, they can give guys that they're coaching and, say, this is what it is and this is how we're going to attack it. So Derek Fisher, like I said, he's one of the guys who stood out. Remember, he got hired by the Knicks with no coaching experience. That's not saying that's a good thing because it's the Knicks. And, since Dolan has owned that team, the son, not the dad, but the son, since he's on that team, it's been a train wreck in New York. So I don't even know if I can really count Derek Fisher as hiring him as an NBA head coach, because we all know that was a train wreck. Last I checked, wasn't he coaching in the WNBA? This is Derek Fisher I'm talking about. I believe he's coaching the LA Sparks. I believe. I could be wrong, but last I checked, I believe Derek Fisher was coaching in the WNBA. Now, Jason Kidd, same thing. Jason Kidd has gotten 2 NBA head coaching jobs. 2 of them. Oh, wow. And I believe Brooklyn, didn't they hire Kidd? Brooklyn hired Jason Kidd with no experience. I could be wrong there, but I'm trying to remember. I know he coached Milwaukee. I know Kidd coached Milwaukee. And I remember when he was going to be fired, Giannis, I got to say his last name, Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo actually asked Jason Kidd did he want him to save his job because he had got some inside information from upper management that they were going to fire Jason Kidd. And Kidd, told him, I appreciate it and thanks and good looking out, but no, that's something you don't have to do. Nothing but respect. So, Kidd is now an assistant with the Lakers. So he's gotten some chances, and Kidd hasn't really fared that great as an NBA coach. I remember the biggest thing that sticks out to me is when he was out of timeouts. And I believe this is when he was in Brooklyn. He was out of timeouts and he had, I guess, some Gatorade in a cup or something, and he spilled it on the floor. He had one of his players come and bump him on purpose and spilled the cup on the floor, and that gave him enough time to have a little mini timeout because they had to wipe the floor up. That is the most that sticks out to me from Jason Kidd as a head coach. Derek Fisher, you already know what sticks out with Derek Fisher. Hide your wife, hide your children, because Derek Fisher is out here and he will take your girlfriend, okay? Or your wife. We know how Derek Fisher gets down, okay? Oh, wow. Derek Fisher. Wow. That was a simp move. I'm not going to go into the whole Derek Fisher, Matt Barnes thing, but that was a simp move. That you can't be out here knocking off your boy's girl or your boy's ex-wife or whatever Matt Barnes and his ex-wife were at the time. You know, and you over there parlaying with the ex-wife and the kids, just, you know, you laughing it up and you dancing and you know, just having the time in your life, you know, and Matt doesn't know anything about this. It was just a simp move by Derek Fisher. But look, that's neither here nor there. Look, let's stay on topic. Steve Nash. I honestly don't know how great of a head coach he will be. You just never know. You know, a guy can be this and he can be that, meaning he can be good or he can be bad. You know, it's just one of those things where only time will tell. I mean, great point guard, great player. I saw his whole career. You know, I saw him coming with Phoenix. Then he was traded to Dallas. Then he went back to Phoenix. How many people know that he was drafted by the Suns? Played for the Suns first and went play with Nowitzki in Dallas and then went back to Phoenix. I wonder if people think he just played in Dallas for a little bit and then he went to Phoenix. Remember, Steve Nash wasn't that great of a point guard when they traded him to Dallas, you know, with his first few years in the league. But look, I wish nothing but the best for Steve Nash. I never want to see a guy fail. Steve Nash I'm thinking, could you tell the story of the NBA without Steve Nash? I don't think you can because of how great he was as a point guard. I know he won 2 back-to-back MVPs. Some people challenged one of the MVPs and felt it should have went to Shaq during his Miami days when he was playing with D Wade. But, you know, it's one of those things. I don't know how Nash is going to fare. You know, only time will tell. Only time will tell. So best of luck to Steve Nash in his role as the head coach, the new head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Give that man an applause, please. Shout out to Steve Nash. In other NBA news, Ja Morant was named NBA Rookie of the Year. Is that really a surprise? Well, Ja Morant, you know, he was pretty much the runaway winner of the NBA Rookie of the Year award on Wednesday, collecting 99 out of a possible 100 first place votes to cruise to an easy victory. Now, Morant, who was the second overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft out of Murray State, finished with 498 points, and he was miles ahead of Miami Heat guard Kendrick Nunn, who played second with 204 points. New Orleans Pelicans forward Zion Williamson, the top pick in last year's NBA draft out of Duke, received the one remaining first place vote and was third with 140 points. In the voting. And Ja Morant, look, clearly he was Rookie of the Year. Clearly. Now, he averaged 17 points, 3 boards, 7 assists. The man was doing it all in Memphis. I mean, who was the idiot that voted the one vote for Zion? Now, Zion played in 3 games? I'm being sarcastic, but I'm just saying 3 games. What Zion didn't play. He didn't play. I respect the fact that Kendrick Nunn was more in the race than Zion. Because really that's who it should have been. It should have been against Morant and Nunn. So shout out to my man Ja Morant winning the NBA MVP. Give him an applause as well. And I said MVP. I meant Rookie of the Year. Let's not get carried away. Let's not get carried. It's the weekend. It's the weekend, and I haven't drunk anything yet, so not sure why. Yeah, but we'll move on. we'll just move on. Montrezl Harrell, that's the Clippers' big man. Well, he won the Sixth Man of the Year. Harrell was the first big man to win the award since the 6'10" Lamar Odom took home the honor for the Los Angeles Clippers in the 2010-2011 season. Now, Harrell earned 58 first-place votes, and that was for a total of 397 points to win the award. Now, Oklahoma City Thunder point guard Dennis Schroeder finished with 35 first-place votes and 328 points. Now, for the third consecutive year, the Clippers had the league's top six man. After Williams won the award the previous two seasons. Yeah, that is your man. Your Atlanta man, your Atlanta guy. Lou Williams. Hot Wing. Magic City Shouty. Did I say it right? Shouty? Magic City Shouty. He had to leave the bubble. Get some wings. Apparently Magic City has some of the best wings. I keep saying I'm going to try it. Now, this is crazy. Because I've been to quite a few strip clubs in Atlanta. Me being in Atlanta, you would think, yeah, I've been to all the strip clubs. Not the case. I've never been to Magic City. Never been to Magic City. Now, my brother, on the other hand, has frequented Magic City quite a bit. He's he's told me some stories, you know. I remember when my brother, quick little story. I remember when my brother had just gotten back from basic training in the Army, and you know, he was back at mom's home. He just got back, and you know, my mom was laying down some ground rules and telling him that, you know, this is what you're gonna pay and whatever. And I remember my brother. He said that he was in the early 20s. You know, this is, you know, guys are irresponsible then. And he says to her, "This is Magic City money. Like this, Magic City is expensive. Okay, so the rent is gonna have to wait. That comes last. But Magic City and these wings, let's get it." So, Magic City, yeah. I guess I have to get out there. I have to see what the fuss is about. You know, I'm not a big strip club guy. I never have. I'm probably one of the few guys that don't understand the purpose of throwing money around. And especially this is, oh boy, I just can't throw money like that. I'm throwing good money. Chances are, and I don't want this show to turn left and turn into a red pill topic show or a MGTOW show. But chances are, there's some girl that I can get to do this for free at home. Okay. And I don't have to come out the pocket hundreds of dollars, you know, and go home with a desert, you know what. Oh, man. I'll get to Magic City and try those wings. The shoe modeling establishment. All right. So, Montrezl Harrell, he averaged career highs this year of 18.7 boards in his fifth season with the Clippers. And Lou Williams, Magic City Shouty. Lou Williams, he also averaged 18 points this season. Harrell and Williams are the first pair of reserves to each average 18 points coming off the bench since starters were first listed on the box score in the 1970 NBA season. Yeah, so there you have it. So all that is your NBA news. And, why don't we go to some baseball news, some MLB news? Sad news coming out of MLB. Mets Tom Seaver passed away this week. Now, Tom Seaver was one of baseball's greatest right-handed power pitchers, a Hall of Famer who won 311 games for 4 major league teams, most notably the New York Mets, whom he led from last place to a surprise world championship in his first 3 seasons. He unfortunately died away on Monday. He was 75 years old. He was the league's Rookie of the Year in 1967, and he was an All-Star 9 times in 10 full seasons with the Mets. He had 5 seasons with more than 20 wins for one team, led the league in strikeouts 5 times, and in earned run average 3 times. He won 3 Cy Young Awards as the NL, well, not even the NL, but as the league's best pitcher. Tom Seaver, New York Mets pitcher, was 75 years old. RIP to my man. Nothing but respect to him and my deepest sympathy and condolences to his family. Tom Seaver, one of the best pitchers to ever do it in the majors. His resume speaks for itself. Over 300 wins. He was an All-Star 9 times. And the fact that he had 5 seasons with 20 wins, like I said, I respect the old school because you don't get that type of pitching nowadays. You get guys going, they go 5 and 6 innings and they're calling for the bullpen. And I hate it. I can't stand it. So give me one of these old school guys, that can go the distance. And not only just go the distance, but they're not going to give them any runs. They might give them a run here and a run there, but guys aren't getting hits and slapping the ball all around the park on them. So RIP to Tom Seaver, and condolences to his family and his loved ones. All right, so I'm going to wrap the show up with this last story. Aroldis Chapman. Now, Chapman has the weirdest look to me. Have you ever seen Chapman on the mound? He has the weirdest look whenever I see him pitching. But anyway, though, Chapman received a 3-game suspension after he threw a 101 mile per hour fastball near the head of Tampa Bay hitter Michael Brosseau. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm going to say Brosseau. While closing out his first save of the season. Now, umpires met before issuing warnings to both benches amid a budding rivalry that has been dominated this season by Tampa Bay. Now, the Rays are 7-2 against the Yankees and lead the second place Yankees by 3.5 games in the American League East. Now, Chapman struck out Brosseau to end the inning, and Brosseau began walking toward the visiting dugout before turning back to exchange some words with someone with the Yankees. Now, the dugouts and benches both emptied, and players gathered in home plate, but they mostly kept their distance before dispersing to their respective clubhouses, and umpires stepped in. Now, remember, teams, they have been warned not to leave the benches this season as part of the league's coronavirus protocol. Now, players on both sides seem to be urging others to de-escalate the situation. Now, Aroldis Chapman, remember this, he began the season on the COVID-19 injured list, and now he had been over 1 in save chances this season. So, Major League Baseball taking it seriously. They don't want people just leaving the bench. Stay in your respective benches. Don't leave the dugouts. It's not a good look for MLB if they can't control players from dealing with the health crisis that we have going on. So Aroldis Chapman, he is banned, a 3-game ban, 3-game suspension from MLB. Hey, look, that's all I got for you today, folks. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, go ahead and follow the podcast. Listen to it, enjoy it, breathe it, love it, all that good stuff. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and comment, like, all that good stuff over there too. It's the same good stuff on the YouTube side as the Spotify side. Go to my website, atswmikedavis.com, to get in contact with the show for suggestions or just read any of the blogs. Hey, listen, guys, you've been listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace. Happy Saturday.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.